Family, the band we are about to interact with right now is thought to be special. You know, a lot of people have told me that Black Sabbath invented metal, and I mean, is there some controversy around that? I mean, isn't there controversy around everything? Let me know primarily. You know, first of all, if you agree with that assessment in the comments. I mean, apparently the guitarist literally invented a new sound because of a grotesque accident. Tommy lost the tips of two fingers in a factory accident, and he couldn't play the guitar normally anymore. So he down-tuned his guitar and used lighter strings, which created a kind of heavy, sludgy sound that became what we know as metal. Bro, that's the gangsterest introduction to a genre I've ever heard in my life. Right? That accidentally kind of created heavy metal. They weren't even trying to start a genre. Mainly, they were asking, why doesn't music feel as dark as real life feels? Why does music tend to avoid the harsh realities? Right? So the result was just kind of the darker tones, the slower riffs, and this kind of ominous atmosphere. You know, family, I'm here for it. And you know, what's better song to start with than you know, Black Sabbath? The name is Black Sabbath. The song title is Black Sabbath. Without any further ado, we're gonna let him cook. Please cook, sir. Ooh. Guys, you can feel that riff already, right? There's something deeply, deeply wrong. You're just kind of sitting in that weird space. We're gonna go back a couple bars. Are they stoned? Look at this look in there. None of them are blinking at all.
What is this that stands before me?
Is he in jammies? That looks like a onesie pajama set.
Finger in black, which points at me.
Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, one of the things that is initially and immediately disturbing about Black Sabbath and the sound that I'm hearing is that, you know, he doesn't have an amazing voice. The voice is like he's just a regular guy kind of crying out for something, which kind of makes it a bit more personal. I mean, he doesn't have an extremely nice vibrato. I mean, he's even like slightly off pitch. You know what I'm saying? Which, you know, it kind of just lends itself to this, you know, horrific feel that they're trying to create. It does its work. You know what I mean?
At me. Turn around quick and start to run. Find out I'm the chosen one. And
Yo, was that scream one of the scariest things? Like, it didn't seem performative at all. It seemed real. And especially coming on the heels of the lines, turn around quick and start to run and find out I'm the chosen one, right? The chosen one being the prey, the one that's weak enough for the predator to catch, the one that got caught off guard, let's say. But the turn around quick and start to run, if you think about real horror, right? It's like, I mean, have you ever been that kid who, like, turns off the light and then has to kind of like get somewhere? And you just have this weird feeling that whatever's in the darkness, even though it's just your imagination, right? As you're running, it excites the feeling that you're being chased, right? It makes it even worse, you know? I'm never, ever, ever letting him live for that pajama set with the stars on it. That's crazy. Guys, the sound is so disorienting, right? You have this boom, 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 and then it seems like the drums are just doing their own thing. It's not necessarily a drum roll or a marching procession. It's very confused. It's almost like the entire song is trying to get somewhere, urgently, while kind of existing in this cognitively limited space, let's say. You hear that? There's nothing predictable about it.
Big black shape with eyes of fire. Telling people their desire. Satan sitting there, he's smiling. Watches those flames get higher and higher. Oh no! Oh please God!
Guys, there's nothing scarier than when he screams and says, "Allah!" It's like it sounds so real. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that he pleads out to God, he cries out to God, right? Like, there's some times where you're just, you're reaching out to anything which is real. Like, hey, yo, God, if you're real, I'll do. You're starting to bargain with the divine. Yikes. Family, if you know any information about what inspired this particular song, I mean, it just seems like a song about fear. Why is the song called Black Sabbath? Right? I mean, when I think about Sabbath, I think about a day which is set apart for rest, right? And maybe that's it. Maybe it's like, because the traditional Sabbath, there was nothing you can do. You know what I mean? That you are you're resting. You're and so the idea of Black Sabbath, right? Black meaning chaos, that which you don't know, the unknown, maybe the aggressor. Let me know, guys, if you have any insights about what inspired this track. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, guys, like they just turned it up several notches. I'm gonna go back just to hear that transition just once more. But I didn't think that I mean, this is my first introduction to any Black Sabbath music, and I didn't think that they necessarily had anything in them besides what we're looking at now. I mean, the vocals turned up, the trajectory of the guitar sound, turned up, while the drums turned up at the same time. That sounds fire. Yeah, talk to me. There it is. Dun, 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 dun. Yo. Fam, there was a line that stuck out in my head when he says Satan's coming around the bend. People running because they're scared. Satan to me represents our tendency and temptation to identify with transient things. I've said this on this channel before. Wherever Satan is mentioned, right? Satan wants you to abandon the present, in exchange for some future. That's at least what Satan tends to mean biblically, right? And so why is Satan threatening? Because the degree to which you identify with transient things, you come to see yourself as transient. And I think the self, your true identity, is an eternal thing, right? And so there's much to fear, when you start to identify with stuff that dies. I mean, like today, so many of us identify with our political party. And so when our political party loses, you just get this internal frustration, like there's something in you that's fractured, even though you're all there, right? So a lot of this fear, that we call Satan, a lot of it's in your head. It's a lot of you, you've identified with something. And now because your identity is lost in this transient thing, your peace is dependent on your circumstances when it shouldn't be, right? Family, what's next, if anything, from Black Sabbath? Where are we going with this? Talk to me, please.